Hey guys, Tim here with The Long-Haired Gardener, and today I thought we would spend a little bit of time here in my Philadelphia backyard and taking one more look at my garden before the end of the season. We are days away from September. I can't believe I'm saying that already, but the summer is almost finished and it will soon be time for me to start taking my garden apart, and that means it's not going to look this way anymore. So I do want to do one final look here at the garden before I start planning for winter prep. I do have probably a good month and a half left of the garden still looking good, but I do like to start early, putting some plants in pots and allowing them to sit outside and kind of get acclimated to their new homes before I take them in over the winter. So let's get started here. And I'm also going to go over maybe which plants I think did well this year and which ones were kind of a dud and may not be returning to the garden. So let's go ahead and get started. So I always like to start my video by entering from this angle, just because I think you get such a good view of everything, and it's just kind of a nice surprise when you come around the corner here and see all of these plants. Overall, this has been a very good year for me in my garden, but there are a couple winners and maybe a couple that didn't do so well. Let's start over here. Everything is still doing great. The caladium right here, these are Frog in the Blender. Beautiful caladium, and it is doing quite well over here in this corner. And I do want to point out that my shrimp plant is finally starting to bloom again. This guy has not been blooming a lot this summer, so it's nice that it finally has some blooms again. This guy right here is my Clivia, and this will be coming inside for over the winter. My split leaf philodendron, which is this plant back here, is absolutely massive. I'm already concerned about having to take that in my apartment because of how huge it is. The spheres, I love the spheres. There definitely are some challenges. If you watched any of my other videos, you will know that they actually fell. The tree limb up here broke off. I had put them both on the same branch and it was too much weight for them. So I did spread them out now. Let me show you here what this bromeliad looks like. Bromeliad is one of those plants that's going to have to come inside probably pretty soon, within the next couple of weeks. I have been having a little trouble watering. This one in particular, things are either too wet or too dry. There seems to be no happy medium. You can kind of tell from this begonia, there's a lot of pieces here that have kind of rotted, but then there are also moments where it just dries out too much. So I still haven't gotten the hang of the watering of this planter yet. The big one seems to do better than the smaller one, but this bird's nest fern right here is another plant that will be coming in probably pretty soon. The plants down here are doing fantastic. I always put similar plants in this area, and I am very happy with the way that they look. Something that I am incredibly happy with is this Colocasia. This is Black Beauty. And look at, especially on this leaf right here, like this color is fantastic. For me, it's the contrast between the center point and the veins and then this like really dark leaf. I think it's quite beautiful and it has performed so well. I'll be interested to see what this looks like when I take it out of the pot, because there are multiple like clusters and I think there are going to be multiple bulbs in there, which of course is a good thing. All the plants around the bottom here, there is an airplane going over right now and I just ripped that leaf. There's some begonias in here and they performed quite well, and then I have the Tradescantia and this trailing coleus. This planter is definitely has definitely performed quite well this summer. My upright Alocasia or elephant ears, I have them like sprinkled throughout back here and they always do really well. Huge leaves, very glossy. This is another plant that is a bulb and I will have to dig that out probably around the beginning of October. More Tradescantias down here. I have a couple different varieties, and there's some like lighter colored ones over there as well. I love these plants. They do so well for me, and believe it or not, a lot of these actually come back and survive over the winter, which is a little shocking. I've already started to take this pot apart. It looks a little rough, but I did pull out, let me see if I can pick this up without getting poked. I did take out this agave and then this other plant right here in preparation for bringing it in for the winter. And I think I'm going to also take this sedum, which I absolutely love this. Sorry, it's looking a little rough right now, but I did just take it out. There's a spider on my hand. I did just pull these all out and kind of reshuffle things so they look a little bit on the rougher side. But this is supposed to be a perennial in my area, so I'm thinking about incorporating this into my chicks and hens bowl, which we'll take a look at in just a second. Oxtail, ox tongue plant. This looks pretty much the same as it has all summer, which is fine. I like that. So that will be coming in, and my Mangavi is looking quite good over here. I don't know if I ever pointed this out or not, but I did have a petunia that reseeded itself in this like crack right here. There's next to no soil, but this petunia did reseed and is growing here, and I am okay with that. I have a wire vine in the back behind the petunia that's coming out into the sidewalk, which I love. This also overwintered for me. Purple hearts. And I also want to point out how well the ageratums did for me this year. The leaves are a little speckly, but I'm okay with that because they grew together, they bloomed all summer. Overall, they did fantastic. This was also the first year that I had geraniums, and I'm quite happy with those. I can see myself having some more geraniums next year. The Cleome or spider flower right here in the center also did well. Like I said, very happy with the way things have turned out this year so far. Really couldn't be any happier with the way this is looking. My yucca is humongous. It did bloom 2 years ago, and yesterday I came in here See if I can come back in here. And I did cut the main plant. This is, I did measure it. This is 3 inches across. This is how big the main plant was. After it blooms, it did kind of look like it was dying, but it produced all of these babies. So I went ahead and took out the main mother plant, and now I have all of these babies. And it looks very healthy, and actually looks so much better now that I've pulled out the mother plant, which was looking a little sad. The lamb's ear is doing pretty good, and this guy, I did not plant him here. It's a little hard to tell. There's like a circular, there's a circle here in the middle and it is filled with stones, and this kind of just started to grow in the stones. I never pulled it out. This plant decided it wanted to live here, and it's doing pretty good. This area back here is also looking nice. The caladiums are what's really like making this area stand out and pop for me, especially next to this beautiful hosta right here. I'm happy with this little area. In the past, I haven't had too much luck growing things here for whatever reason, and this year it is looking quite good. While we're now standing on the back side of this pot, we can step in here and take a look, and you can see what I was trying to say. This right here is this is a new plant. So there's one here, 2, 3, 4, there's like 5 plants that are now in here instead of just the one that I started with. So hopefully I will be able to overwinter that and have that again next year. Something I am definitely going to repeat next year is this Rex begonia vine. It is gorgeous and huge. It is climbing up 2 trellis in here. Let me come in for a closer look. This is a plant that I will have to bring in for the winter. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to bring this whole plant in because it's quite large, but I did take some cuttings, and I'm going to try to root those so that I can have this plant for next year. This is called a Rex begonia vine, but it's actually not a begonia. It is more related to like the grape plant, and if you are familiar with grape plants, that will make sense. You can see these little twisty, I don't know what you want to call these, but they are also on grapevines, and they attach themselves to everything. Oxalis, always a fan of this plant. It is blooming as well right here. This will have to come in over the winter. It is it has corms, so I can either let this go dormant inside, or I can just grow it as a house plant. Either way does work for this one. And I have a few more house plants here. This guy is actually blooming. Aglaonema, I don't know which one this is. It's just like a pink one. But this is a house plant that wasn't doing the best inside. I've had this for many years, and I decided to put it out for the summer, and it's doing quite well. So probably within the next couple weeks, some of these plants that I'm saying that they will have to come in over the winter, I will be out here digging them out, kind of dismantling these pots, and bringing them in. So that's why I wanted to do one final tour back here, you know, before it starts to look a little disheveled. I am getting eaten alive by the mosquitoes back here. I will definitely be buying more caladiums. All of the caladiums that you're seeing around here, there's some more over here. This one is really pretty. All of these I overwintered in my basement. They went dormant and they came back. So I am a huge fan of caladiums. There's some more back here. But I will be buying some more of these because they're good for filling in like empty spaces and adding a little bit of color. Like I could pop some in between the hostas, which I did over here as well, and they just kind of add a nice little pop of color. So you will be seeing more of those next year. These planters right here, right now, this particular one, it looks good, but overall I'm a little disappointed with the way this turned out. They're a little lacking in color for me. I did grow, of course now I can't remember the name, I think Browalia. This plant down here, it blooms purple and like purple star-shaped flowers, and I think if that would have grew in there and added that pop of purple, I really would have liked this more. But unfortunately, each plant in each pot did not do well. One of them actually died. So I'm a little disappointed with the way that these turned out color-wise. But the plants that are in here are doing quite well and look healthy. Again, more caladiums. This is the polka dot plant right here. And I do have a begonia down here as well. Yes, this one does have those little fuzzy stems. I have definitely pointed those out before as I've been walking around the city. Up here on the wall, I would just point out that these are my amaryllis. They come out every summer just so that they can get some good light. These bulbs are huge. The plant looks very healthy, but they will also be coming in, and I will allow them to go dormant so that they will hopefully bloom, you know, in ideally winter time, but usually early spring is when I get them to bloom. This is my banana tree. This is the first year that I'm growing this particular kind. Let me come down in here. I definitely went a little overboard with the green foliage, but that's all right. In previous years, I grew a red Abyssinian banana, and I think I do prefer that one over this one, just for the, you know, the different color variations that plant offers. Hopefully I'm not moving the camera around too much, but I am kind of getting eaten back here by the mosquitoes, so I have to constantly be swatting them away. A new plant that I tried this year is this one right here, Dicea. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I will put the name up on the screen. It gets these like orange flowers, and unfortunately this is going to be a no for me. I can't see me wanting to buy this plant again. It just did not do well. I did read that they do not like the heat, and we've been in the 90s a lot of the summer, so that explains why this one did not perform well and maybe was not a good choice for me. These planters, actually, let's look down here first. We're looking at the Chicks and Hens bowl. They're doing what they're doing every year, and that is some of them rot, even though I do not water this planter at all. And I have redone it multiple times. There's good drainage, but these just, they always seem to rot, even without me watering them. So I think what we're going to do is devote some of this area to some sedums instead of buying more Chicks and Hens next year. And the we'll just walk over here. This low growing sedum, this guy right here is actually going to come over here and live in this pot as well. And hopefully I'll have more luck with the sedums than I am with the chicks and hens. This area right here looks fantastic. Not real heavy on the flowers, but the foliage looks fantastic. There's a lot of noise. I say this every time in Philadelphia, so you're going to hear a lot of cars revving in the background. My pink striped purple heart. Again, this is a favorite plant. I kind of pop this in everywhere. My petunia, I think this is like Bordeaux. This is a Supertunia. It did okay, but as you can see, it kind of looks a little leggy right now. I sometimes have a little trouble with the petunias. The lantana here in the background is finally starting to bloom, and I think it is looking great. I also have this rainbow ascot euphorbia. This is a perennial, came back from last year, and I love the way it looks against all of this other foliage that is in here. I do have, it's kind of buried right here. When I started this planter, I had 2 heliotropes. That's what this guy is right here, and unfortunately they also did not do great for me. Like right here, the plant looks fine enough, but there are absolutely no blooms, and it really didn't bloom a lot for me. It gets beautiful, dark, rich purple flowers that smell fantastic, but unfortunately they're gonna have to go into the probably not into the repeat category for me. My pentas always do pretty good for me. I have my bird of paradise, coleus, and then look at this, like papyrus grass. This is humongous, and I love the way it looks. I don't know what else to say about it, except it's a lot of fun. I like to look at that and kind of play with it. So one area that I am so happy with, excuse the noises again in the background, are the pots that are up here on the wall. I'm very happy with this year. More of the striped purple heart. My Mizu plants did pretty good. I do have some grass in here. This is Ogon grass. It's probably a little shorter than I was anticipating. I do try to plan out my garden, but as I'm walking through the greenhouses, sometimes I do, and I'm sure everybody does, do some impulse buying, and or maybe just not doing enough research. So the grass kind of falls into that category. I didn't realize or didn't research enough to know that that one doesn't get very tall. So I think that would look a little bit better if it was a little bit taller. But it is a perennial, and it will be going into the ground over the winter, and will be nestled in with the hostas, and I think that will look really good. I think I did this last time. I'm gonna step up here just to get like a better view of what's going on. I do have another papyrus plant back here, and the lantana, which are doing fantastic. I do have some sedum in these little pots, and then something that is new, let me step back down here, is this I don't know what I want to call that. I'm just gonna say a man head planter. Bust, that's the word. This is new, and you can see there's some sedum kind of trailing out over the edge. So that is a new addition. But I think this part of the garden up here on the wall is one of my favorite areas. And I think it looks really good this year. I did earlier today, I did some repotting of houseplants, so ignore the rubber tree over here. But I do want to point out how well my Brugmansia is doing. I bought this online on Etsy. I thought this was a gamble because I didn't know how well buying something online would do in the heat, and it turns out it looks fantastic. I have a whole another stem right here, so I have two stems coming up. I don't know that I will get a bloom from it this year or not. I just kind of investigate, but I will have to, this is yet another plant I will have to overwinter in my basement this winter. All right, spinning around, we have, this is the herb section down here, and my sparkling amethyst pineapple lily looks really good this year. The foliage is nice, but unfortunately it did not bloom again. This is the second or third year I've had this plant and it still has not bloomed. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. I don't consistently fertilize, so that could be an issue. The lemon coral sedum that is going around this bulb, this plant, is fantastic. Like, this is exactly what I would, this is the look I was going for. So I couldn't be happier with the way that turned out. Up here around the window, I have a brown-eyed Susan vine. The vine is just like going everywhere. It's coming down over the chairs. It's actually, I don't want to show you my pile of, you know, my junk pile. But like this vine down here is the sweet potato vine. You can see there's a bloom back there. Like, this guy is going crazy. Not as many blooms as I would like, but still looks quite beautiful. Thank you to everybody who suggested another plant for putting here in front of my window. Definitely going to take one of those suggestions and try something new next year. There is also a variegated sweet potato vine in this planter, and it has gone up the window. I was hoping more for like trailing down, but it kind of went up, which is fine. It's like mixed in up here, and I noticed today that it is blooming, which I didn't even know it bloomed. So that's a nice little surprise. I have some Angelonia here, which did really good this year. I think in other years, maybe it didn't do so well for me, so I'm glad I gave it another chance. And this year, I'm quite happy with it. So I always recommend trying to plant more than once. Maybe you just got a bad plant, or just the growing conditions for that year were not optimal. Whatever the reason, always give it a second chance if you really enjoy the look of the plant. Petunias down here are still doing okay. This plant right here, the Chrysandra, this was a new plant for me this year, and I do like the look of it. Maybe it's because I have it in this small pot. It didn't get very large. I've seen other plants like this as I'm walking around the city, and some of them are quite huge. hyacinth bean vine. Let me just step back here. This is one plant, and it is growing up into the tree. Sometime soon we are going to get some blooms, which is what's going to happen here, and then from the blooms we get the bean part. It's a little late this year, but it is happening, and I think it looks really good. So we'll just continue over here. There's also this, I did not plant this, but there is like a pickle plant growing outside my gate, and I see a pickle right here. There have been many pickles, but they kind of disappear as they get big enough to harvest. Not for me, they're not mine, so it doesn't matter, but I do notice that they disappear. Alright guys, I think that's everything for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my garden. Sadly, possibly the last one of the year. We know that's not true. I will definitely show you again as I am taking this garden apart, but this is probably the last time we will be seeing it with all of the plants intact. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next garden video. Have a great day.